the Kirb podcast. I'm your host, Jay Kirby, joined as always with my lovely co-host, Scream Queen Bee, Britt.
Good morning. If that doesn't scare you. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know some of you aren't listening in the morning, and some of you won't hear this until the evening, but it is morning right now. I am freshly woken up and derived of Monster.
I have been up roughly for the last 4 hours, and I'm already half a cup of coffee in. Cheers.
So we all know which of the podcast hosts is the harder working one.
Hey,
Thank goodness I still have my looks.
Or what's left of them.
You're not kidding.
I know sometimes when you're getting your soft face when your soft face is getting punched around, you know it can leave some damage.
Yeah, broke my nose before. It's not pretty.
Nah, I would probably agree, but it's pretty mild. Besides, it's not really, I don't know, I'm trying to remember my medical knowledge. There's not really much bone in the nose. It's like all just like cartilage.
It's like 99% cartilage. And I have jacked it up on more than one occasion. But I digress.
That's not what this episode is about.
We may get into medical anomalies later on down the road.
My favorite.
To which I am not surprised.
Not that creepy. Notice how I stunned him into silence for a moment, boys and girls. He actually had to think about that. That's all right. I'll remember this for Christmas when Krampus comes to town.
Ugh. Anyway, we have a huge show today. We're discussing the post-2020 Royal Rumble, filled with I told you so's.
And I can't believe that happened.
Yes, so many I can't believe that happened moments. And we are also going to be discussing a little bit of Super Showdown coming up in February, as well as other wrestling events going on in the local area, the world itself, and any kind of news that we've found in the past week or so. But Britt, I'll let you take it away.
Well, we're gonna start kind of light. Some of the things that are going on in the wrestling world this week. Some of it is going to be WWE based. Jay, I don't know if you heard the news, but Andrade. Wellness policy violation. However, there has been no news or announcement yet on whether or not they're going to strip him of that belt. What do you think?
So, I don't know if they're going to strip him because it's his first wellness violation. They did write him off of TV, but
it's kind of understandable for 30 days.
Right, but if they were going to write him off TV, why not have him lose the title? So, I think they're going to forgive and forget. Of course, he has to serve his punishment, like everyone will. I would say not even the big dog Roman Reigns has gotten out of his suspensions before. So I think if Andrade, and we don't know what the violation was, we just know that it was a violation. So I assume if he keeps his nose clean, he'll come back in 30 days and continue being United States champion.
Now, it was interesting though that you brought up Roman Reigns. So just refresh my memory very quickly on that. I know that was around the time that he was feuding with Seth Rollins. Was Roman champion at this time, or
He
was he
was
not?
not. It was Dean
Okay.
Ambrose was the WWE champion, and it was
Oh, that's
supposed to be
right.
Dean versus Roman versus Seth.
In a triple
Rome,
threat.
Roman hit the wellness policy violation, and they basically had Seth and Dean build up the match up until Roman could return. And then I believe they had the three-way. Yes, they did in fact have the three-way.
Hmm. That is very fascinating. Now, I can go either way on this one. I mean, I do understand it is a first violation. However, if you're a champion, though, I mean, I'm trying to remember like how if they had done this similar in, back in the glory days, I guess, if we want to call it that. If anyone was, was caught within a wellness violation, if they had to be stripped of their title. I mean, it's almost no different than having Brock Lesnar like being on TV every 2 or 3 weeks.
Right. As
So
far
I
as the
guess
whole 30-day defense thing, it shouldn't be that big a deal as far as storyline goes. But when it comes to a champion and having a wellness violation, I don't, sometimes they'll have violations or they'll have outside the ring issues, and they will right away for that person to lose the title. Great
right.
example, Jack Swagger, when he got pulled over for possession, like two weeks later, lost the heavyweight title and never gained any kind of momentum back.
Moral of the story, kids, don't do drugs.
Yes.
But that's where we are. Andrade is suspended for 30 days due to wellness policy violation. So we won't be seeing him or the belt anytime soon. Zelina Vega, I'm hit or miss with her. Moving on to one of the notable injuries. It turns out the phenomenal AJ Styles. How many years has it been since he had debuted for the WWE at this exact event?
3? I want to say 3.
And he is Go ahead.
Because I'm trying to remember all of his WrestleMania moments. He's had a match against Shane, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura. So this WrestleMania would have made 4. So we're looking at 3 to 4 years he's been in the company.
Well, awesome. I love how you use WrestleMania moments to as time markers. That's pretty cool. That's pretty smart. Anyway, in the big Rumble match this past Sunday, suffered a shoulder injury. At first, we weren't sure, but it was confirmed he is listed on the WWE roster on their Wikipedia. Yes, I had to check Wikipedia on this. He is listed as inactive currently with a separated shoulder. Don't know how long he will be out, but speedy recovery, get well soon.
Oh yeah.
For the phenomenal one.
Maybe AJ's got some of that Super Cena juice, and we'll just come back in a couple weeks better than normal.
Super Cena. Oh, that's another one. That's another. Oh.
That was
that
is a Royal Rumble return that has finally been dethroned as one of the best returns of all time. But we'll get into that later.
Yes, we will save that for later on. And last but not least, at least for what I have, I never thought it would be possible, but it's happening, and the fact that I'm going to talk about it, I'm so excited. Can you feel the literal excitement coming out of my voice? Like I'm Michael Cole over the top excited for this. Nikki and Brie Bella, both, listen, 1, 2, both are expecting. Congratulations to both of them. I know Daniel's got to be completely thrilled to death with having a little sibling for Birdie Joe.
Aww.
I don't know why, like Birdie Joe. I love that name. It's peculiar, but
it's very different, but it's kind of cute.
It's strangely adorable. Yeah.
But as much slack as I give as I've dubbed them, the Silicone Sisters, I am very happy that they are, they're living life. They are, continuing on with life outside the ring, and that they're living happily. I don't wish bad upon anyone. I will give them a hard time all the time on this podcast, but I'm very happy for the both of them.
Absolutely, as am I. So, best wishes to both of them through this endeavor into, well, for Nikki, her first ever endeavor into motherhood. So, all right. So, Jay, why don't you tell me what is making you pop this week?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Oh my goodness. So, late Thursday night? Wednesday night into Thursday morning, I believe, a huge announcement was made in a tiny little company across the pond called TNT Extreme Wrestling. When I say tiny, I don't literally mean it. I just know that they are, on their little island of the United Kingdom. So this TNT Extreme Wrestling was having a show. Looked like a fantastic crowd. And a strange video appeared on their little Titantron. A video of one DJ Hyde from Combat Zone Wrestling. And DJ had a huge announcement that not only would CZW be coming to the United Kingdom, but they were bringing an age-old staple with them. And my goodness, am I ready for this? I want to go so bad. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in 2021, CZW and TNT Extreme Wrestling presents Tournament of Death, United Kingdom. Oh my goodness. The fact that TOD is going worldwide.
That's absolutely amazing. Congratulations to CZW for such a feat. I mean, I don't know much about the Tournament of Death.
I have seen a tournament up close and personal, and it is a spectacle, to say the least. I know some fans, some people listening are not into the deathmatch scene. That's fine. Wrestling's like ice cream. Everyone has their favorite flavor. Let's just say deathmatch is a chocolate cone covered in thumbtacks and with a barbed wire cone. And
that sounds good.
And oh my goodness, am I excited to see what TOD UK is going to bring. Last year at Tournament of Death, we saw Connor Claxton leap off of a scaffolding with Officer Dan O'Hare through a barbed wire trampoline with light tubes hanging above said trampoline and when they crashed through the trampoline, an explosion went off that apparently had been wrapped around the trampoline. It was terrifying, to say the least.
Wow.
Yes.
This
And,
sounds like my version of Disney World.
well, I will do my best to secure 2 tickets to the United Kingdom. Maybe we can take the Curbside podcast worldwide.
Just like Titus?
Yes, just like
Oh,
Mr. Titus O'Neil.
wonderful. So let me ask, since I know you, again, I've been such, I've had to be an adult this week, much like a lot of you. And in case you haven't realized, being an adult kind of sucks.
It does.
So I did not get much of a chance to watch some of the fallout or get a chance to catch up with some of the competition. Jay, have you done your homework?
I've done a little bit of homework, yes. Oh my goodness, I forgot one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, and I apologize to him because I'm going to send him the link later. One more thing that popped me this weekend. Friday night at CZW Super Show, a debut of one of their newest talents. His name, Sweet Daddy Trick. Sweet Daddy Trick, the charismatic, enthusiastic, and not too bad looking CZW student making his debut against DJ Hyde. The crowd was on fire for this man, and I'm so proud of him. I've seen him in training. I've seen him working hard, getting ready for this match. He did a wonderful job. Super proud of you, Sweet Daddy, a.k.a. the Sweet One. And hopefully one of these days we can get you on the cast and ask you some questions. But this week's homework. We had Monday Night Raw, the fallout from the Royal Rumble. I'm not going to get too much into Monday Night Raw because, of course, Rumble spoilers. But I will say that we had a very, very interesting episode of AEW. We had Cody Rhodes versus, or Cody, depending on who you ask, versus Kip Sabian, which was a fantastic match. And we could tell that Mr. Cody is getting a little pissed off at his current rival MJF because he hit Kip Sabian with 3 crossroads. And I don't mean one, kick out, go for another one. I mean, boom, immediately picked him back up. Boom, one more time. Boom, 3 crossroads.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. He was sending a message. I
can tell.
We had pretty good women's match between, I always botch her name and I apologize, Nia Rose. Is that how you say that right?
I'm 90% sure that's how you say it. If not, if that's not how you pronounce it, we are very sorry. Please just don't rip our heart out and show it to us.
Yes. Nia Rose versus Big Swole. And it was quite the competitive match. Good back and forth, you know. Big Swole, not a pushover in that ring. I'm slowly becoming a fan.
Awesome.
But Nia Rose just got it done and was our victor. And then we had a fantastic, and I know I'm missing matches because I unfortunately only got about an hour and a half into the episode. I did not get to see whatever the main event was, and I apologize. But we had, we had the team. Oh no! I did get to see the main event. I just don't remember who won because I didn't finish the match. But we had a fantastic tag team match between the Young Bucks and Butcher and Blade towards the beginning of the show with MJF on commentary. Um, the Young Bucks hitting their fast, frenetic tag team offense pulled off the victory, while Butcher and Blade looked like a terrifying, well-versed opposition. But the Young Bucks, being one of the best teams in the world and one of my favorites, hashtag biased, um, pulled
Maybe
this
a
one
little.
out. Just a tiny bit. I love you.
Just a smidge.
Pulled out some super kicks, hit the Meltzer driver, 1, 2, 3. Only to be attacked post match by the team in which they defeated, in which they were saved by Kenny Omega and one of my favorites, Hangman Adam Page, the AEW Tag Team Champions.
Fascinating.
Very. Kenny with the V trigger, Hangman with the buckshot, aka pull my beer mat, boom, hit the buckshot, save the day. And next week on AEW, it will be an 8-man tag team matchup between
Ooh.
Kenny, Adam, the Bucks versus the Blade, the Butcher, and a team of their choice. And the
This
team
could be
was revealed
fascinating.
at the end of the night. Makes me so happy to hear. The team that they chose, the Lucha Brothers.
Ooh.
This tag team match
So
is going to be insane.
it is. So if you're a fan of AEW, you do not want to miss it next week. Okay. Well, whew, I think that felt like a lot to unload.
Oof.
Okay, I'm better now. Even after even without you and a monster, I'm having a hard time catching up. Not all creepy creatures can keep up this insane pace that you set.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm so sure. But
Hashtag
anyway,
Lo Ciento.
I'm not even going to pretend I know what that means. My
It
college
means
educated
sorry.
brain is working.
It means sorry in Spanish.
Remind me to look up I'm going to dig my knee into your throat and how to interpret that in Spanish.
I'll send it to you later.
See, this is why I like him, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't feel threatened by me. Not yet, at least. But anyway, all that off to the side. We got to talk about what we're here to talk about. I know it's a little late, and I've seen YouTube channels. I've heard podcasts. They like to go right into it, like as soon as the event's over. I like to kind of sit and stew and just kind of interpret. I kind of like to let things sit for a little while, just so that way I can look at it and like try to have a pair of fresh eyes on it and like a fresh perspective. So.
And I enjoy sleeping because some pay-per-views end at 11:30, and I have to be at work on Monday mornings.
The adult life.
It'll be the death of the both of us.
What do you mean, the both of us?
Well, you're adulting right now. I have to adult sometime this week.
Well, that's so not where I was going with that, but okay. So it is time. We are going to get into the meat of our episode today, the 2020 Royal Rumble, the aftermath.
The fallout, if you will. For all my gamers out there. Love you guys.
Not sure how I feel about that game, but anyway. But, hey,
Fallout 3
if you
is
like
fantastic. Fallout New Vegas is just as good. Fallout 4 was okay. And I enjoyed it. And the less we talk about Fall 76, the better.
Oh, sounds like the stepchild.
Yeah. Sure, we'll go with that. That's a rant for
Uh,
another day.
we don't have the Pop-Tarts for him handy yet, do we?
No, we don't have the Pop-Tarts, the monster, or the alcohol to handle a job as big as Fall 76.
I sent a podcast episode.
We'll add it to the growing list of episodes people want to see. But let's get into this Royal Rumble fallout.
Woohoo! All right, so for starters, here, I'm going to start off by saying, you know what? I don't think this was a bad pay-per-view at all. In fact, I actually found it to be highly entertaining. Maybe I am.
Oh, go ahead, please.
I was going to say, maybe I am speaking with a little bit of bias because, this is one of my, this is one of my favorite pay-per-views that the WWE throws. So maybe I'm a little bit biased on that cause for that reason, but I honestly didn't hate it.
I think this was definitely one of the better Rumbles in the past couple of years. I know some people, they thought it may be a little bit predictable as far as the pay-per-view goes, because this guy right here predicted the whole card perfectly. Hashtag
Yes.
I told you so. Hashtag
Yes,
I
you did.
effing called it. Which was my catchphrase of the night while watching.
Yes, good job, and we are so proud of you.
Again, trying to keep the podcast PG, but that word was used very often Sunday night as I jumped and screamed from my couch, both in excitement and pain because I remembered I have a torn ACL.
And it brought you back to earth really quickly, didn't it?
Very quickly. But there were so many good returns during the Rumble match. Fantastic Universal title match.
Match of one of the matches, like probably the singles match of the night, hands down.
I would probably have to agree with you there. So we'll dive into the first couple matches that were singles matches first. Try to get those out of the way real quick, and then we'll dive into these Rumbles. Filled with so much oh my goodness.
You know what? I could hear very subtle screaming noises from where I live, and I'm like, I look up at the sky, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably Jay right now.
Oh, it was most definitely me.
You tend to echo, my friend. All right, so let's start with we'll start with the pre-show match, or what was kind of listed as the pre-show match. It was Sheamus and Shorty G. What do I have to call him, Shorty G?
No, you don't have to. I call him Chad Gable because I hate that gimmick. I have to say, I love Chad Gable. I think Chad Gable is a fantastic wrestler, and I want him to wrestle more. But at the same time, what?
Unless it's, I don't know if he's like doing it to be like a callback. I don't know if you remember like the mid 2000s, like where they wore like the the big basketball shorts, and it was like cool to do so or whatever. I don't know.
The gimmick
I wasn't part of the cool kids.
Neither was I, so I couldn't tell you. The gimmick, it just makes me think of those people who come up with, and people who watch Marvel movies will get this, who come up with quote unquote cool nicknames, and nobody calls them that except themselves, but they still think it's their nickname. AKA Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. So
I actually did like Guardians of the Galaxy, by the way.
So good. Such a good movie. Such a sleeper.
Actually, It reminds me, and I think you'll probably get this, and I think a lot of people at home are gonna get where I'm coming from. Mid 2000s MTV.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what that's what Shorty G reminds me of.
Oh,
But anyway, enough of crapping all over the gimmick.
yeah.
Um, Sheamus
Just the
versus
gimmick. We still love you, Chad Gable. If you ever want to show
yes,
up on our podcast, please. We would love to have you.
it would be a cool day in hell before that ever happens, but still hopeful. Anyway, so the match was Shorty G versus Sheamus.
It was
I
it was a decent match. It wasn't amazing, but it was decent. And then Sheamus, of course, had to pick up a huge win as he returned to the ring.
absolutely. I mean, that much was obvious. I mean, we knew Sheamus was gonna go into the ring. We knew he was gonna dominate. We knew he was gonna win. I did not
Right.
think it. I didn't think that this match would be like almost as good as it was kind of supposed as it turned out. I mean, Chad Gable is a very solid talent. There's no doubt about it. So, it worked for me, but for the love of God, please get rid of that gimmick. It's making my inner black heart weep. So anyway, winner of the match, if you guys could not have figured it out by now, was Sheamus.
Yep.
Uh, next
Hashtag
match
to
we're
my
going to talk.
ginger cousin. uh,
I I I I I I
got nothing.
I
Moving
I got
on.
enough. So should should we talk about the uh should we talk about Andrade versus Umberto?
Well, I can go into very briefly. I caught a little bit of the match. It was good. It was very back and forth. These two always put on a really good show together.
Mm-hmm.
But just I want to say Selena got involved at the end and just Andrade hit the hairball like DDT, and it was 1, 2, 3. But match was really good. They went, they've not had a bad match. They haven't had
No,
amazing build, but they haven't had a bad match. So
and I can say the same thing. Like, again, these are two performers that you're not going to get a bad match out of, but I think because Umberto is still trying to figure out who he is, it didn't quite have like the same magic to it as Andrade and Mysterio would have has had with it.
right.
I mean, I think like once Umberto kind of gets himself grounded into something, like kind of gets a good feel for who he is in the ring, for how he can perform. I think, yeah, maybe a little bit longer, or a couple more matches, like it could build up to like that magic. But for a
Oh,
standard match, it was okay.
I'm
Like the
sure
technical,
by the end of the year, Umberto will definitely be either a worthy United States champion or ready to be United States champion.
again, that's a bold prediction, Jerry. You willing to put money on that?
Sure, I'd definitely put money on the fact that you know if the way they keep going is the way they keep, if they keep going the way that they are, I can see Umberto winning the U.S. title by the end of 2020. I don't know how long
Yeah.
he'll keep it, but I can see him winning it.
And this is something else that I didn't really talk about, like with Andrade being suspended. If they were to strip him of the title while he was gone, I could have seen like a small like USA tournament going on, a small US title tournament, just kind of give the guys something else to do. Because
Mhm.
I mean, when they're not busy trying to chase Mojo Rawley around for the 24/7 belt,
Right.
which yes, that is another thing I completely forgot. Mojo
Hmm.
Rawley is our 24/7 champion. I Don't even know who. Did he pin our? I don't even know if he pinned our
Our
truth for
Truth.
it or not.
If you're winning the 24/7 title, it's probably from Our Truth.
Kind of makes sense. That's gonna be another. That's gonna be another episode.
No, most definitely.
Okay. So the next match. I have a feeling you've been really itching to talk about this one. So would you like to talk about Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend Bray
Oh
Wyatt?
my goodness, yes. I would be honored to talk about this match. My
Let you lead.
goodness. Oh, so I'm not going to lie to you. This match is hard to watch because there are two kinds of pain that I can describe that people go through. There is dull, blunt, fall on the floor and knock the wind out of you pain. And then there's stinging pain from, getting smacked,
Or slap. And just like
slapped,
that's
struck, or whipped with a leather
and
belt.
just how it lingers.
Yes. So as a wrestler, it's very hard for me because I cannot stand stinging pain. That is the one thing that drives me nuts. I will gladly fall off of almost anything and land on my back and knock the wind out of myself. But the second you say, I'm going to hit you with this 12-foot long leather strap. Ugh.
Sounds like my Friday night. You gotta broaden your horizons a little bit, my friend.
Moving on, we'll leave that for a different podcast. This match was just filled with some rough shots from this strap. But my goodness, the story of this match was amazing. It
You
was
could feel.
Oh, definitely. I was on the edge of my seat watching this match because they went just pillar to post. Just it seemed like Daniel had like this fire to just fight Bray no matter what, and Bray had this innate ability to just keep inflicting pain and damage to Daniel.
Well,
But
that's Fiend, isn't it?
it's definitely the Fiend, and it was amazing to watch. By the way, thank Kami, thank God, thank whatever religion you pray to, Cthulhu.
You get Cthulhu out of this.
They got rid of those damn red lights.
Yes, thank God. I don't. It's so difficult to see through those red strobe lights. Oh my.
It takes away from so much of the match because people aren't focused on the match; they're focused on the lights. Like I love the Fiend and I love everything he's done so far, and I could not watch his Falls Count Anywhere match against Seth Rollins because those red lights were so terrible. But the fact that Daniel and him had this match with no red lights, you could focus on the match, you could focus on
what they were doing. You could actually see what they were doing.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
But Daniel mostly played the fiery, resourceful underdog, whereas the Fiends played Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees.
Actually, I would want to say more like the Blair Witch, give it a much more supernatural feel.
Well, I say that because it seemed like no matter what Daniel hit this guy with, he was standing right back up.
And so with the Blair Witch.
Especially when there was a part of the match where Daniel was standing right in front of him, just whipping the crap out of him. And the Fiend just kind of stood there, didn't react, didn't do anything, just taking strike after strike after strike. Creative move of the night, I would have to say, Daniel Bryan putting the Fiend in the yes lock and then taking the strap across the Fiend's face.
Ooh.
For leverage. So good, so creative. But in the end, the Fiend won with the mandible claw. But my goodness, this was such a good match. I'm probably going to go back and watch it this week.
I mean, if you did not get a chance to watch anything on the Rumble, or if you're looking for just those singles matches, that's definitely going to be the singles match of the night that I would recommend.
100%.
So, Jay, would you like to lead us on with the women's title match of the night? Let's go with, you know what, I'll let you pick. We had two to choose from. We had Asuka and Becky, or we have Bayley and Lacey Evans.
All right, we'll go into the Asuka versus Becky. We'll go into that one first. That was a really good match. You know, these two have been fighting for almost a year now. Actually, or almost 2 years, because you know, Becky's been champion since last WrestleMania, but she has not beaten Asuka. And right. Just they built this so that, you know, Asuka looked like this legit threat to Becky's Women's Championship. And even though Becky had the long title reign behind her, I was kind of thinking that Asuka might pull this one off.
Absolutely. It looked like you could almost see Becky like fighting with herself, and at some points during the match, like, you know what, am I able to do this? And I thought just seeing that, it told such a phenomenal story.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, they went at it. They had some good spots. They repeated last year's finish when Asuka locked in the Asuka lock and bridged out of it. This time Becky was able to get her foot on the ropes.
Great ring awareness on Becky's part for that.
Very much so. And then the finish, very surprising. They were going for the poison mist spot. I thought it was going to be Asuka spits, Becky moves, hits the ref, and that was going to cost Becky the match because, you know, Becky would go for a finish and then get jumped. But instead, surprisingly, Asuka goes for the spit, Becky kicks her, misdirects the spit, and then I want to say rolled her up and put her in the disarmer and got the win.
I believe that was how it happened. So Becky defeated her demon, like, in a sense, she kind of defeated her own demon. She defeated, like, the last obstacle that was standing in her way.
Yep.
And just the storytelling, I like this one in this match as much as I enjoyed it with Bray and Daniel. I mean, I actually may have felt like a little more of a connection with Becky and Asuka than I did with Bray and Daniel. Just because it was like, you know, there's this, like, Asuka was like this big obstacle for Becky, and now that Becky finally conquered it, it's like, what can stop her now?
Right.
And then we go from that to, I think this may have, no, we have one more singles match. But we go from that and we go to the SmackDown Women's title with Lacey Evans and Bayley. Whew.
This was an okay match. They're trying to see. I'm not gonna insult Lacey Evans or anything, but they're trying really hard to make her this sympathetic baby face. Even bringing in, her husband and her daughter, trying to like really tug at those. Oh, she's a strong mom, but she's also a wrestler and kind of thing. But I don't know if it's working. So that's like my biggest thing with this whole rivalry.
Right. You think that they're trying to push her as a baby face, whereas she is a much stronger heeled character.
Oh, she's definitely a much, much better heel. I'm not gonna say that she's bad. She's not bad at all. But it's just she's not. I don't know if she's the best baby
She wasn't
face.
the right opponent. She was not the right opponent at this time.
Which I think we've got the right opponent who showed up on SmackDown this week, and I would love to see it. But
in Lacey's defense, I will say though, the quality of her wrestling with all of her programs with Natalya, she has gotten way better.
Oh, way better.
So.
But
also, if you want to talk about like placement on the card, this match was after the Women's Royal Rumble, so it probably, like, the crowd probably wasn't feeling it. Like, you just came from like a huge hype train, and then you're kind of having to like cool off a little bit. Like, you kind of need like that breather.
So, but it was an okay match. Nothing special. Ended when Lacey went for the moonsault, landed on the knees, and then got rolled up. 1, 2, 3, and Bayley retains. So I think the only match left was Corbin versus Roman, which was a decent little schmoz. They fought through the crowd. Rude and Ziggler interfered, and then the Usos interfered. The spot of the night didn't even involve the two wrestlers in the match. It was when Jimmy or Jay leapt off this balcony, I guess you could call it, dropped like 8 or 9 feet and crashed down on Rude, Ziggler, and his brother. Corbin and Roman.
It sounds almost like Jeff Hardy circa 2000.
It was almost like the Seth Rollins dive during the Evolution match, where he just like appears out of nowhere and flies across the screen. But it ended with Roman hitting the big spear on top of the baseball dugout in the stadium. 1, 2, 3. Roman moves on. And hopefully this feud is over, but it does not look like it. So, yep.
My black heart is sad again.
On to the Rumble matches.
Yay! I'm happy again. So,
trying to make this. We'll try to make this quick. Don't want to rant too much. Women's Rumble started off very interesting. Start off with Alexa and Bianca.
That's Bianca Belair from NXT.
Yes, Bianca Belair from NXT. Alexa Bliss starting at number 1 and 2. They were, I don't know why, but they were pushing Bianca hard. Like, she had 7 eliminations.
Roughly. Let me see.
7 or 8. That is quite a feat. Like, they made her look.
She had 8 eliminations.
8 eliminations. They made her look really good. And I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
trying to say that she's bad or, that they're over pushing. I didn't know what the plan was there, but they made her look like a legitimate threat to this Rumble. Um,
Absolutely. And they also did the same thing with another entrant,
mhm.
with who came in at number 30.
Oh, excuse me, pop my neck. Um, yes, number 30. I almost forgot for a second, then I remembered. So a couple big. I'm not going to get into the whole Rumble because that would take a full podcast. Um,
Mhm.
couple big moments. The return of one of my favorite divas, Mighty Molly. Oh my goodness,
Whee!
I popped for that. Molly Holly is such a genuine good person, such a fantastic
She
wrestler,
is.
and the fact that she brought back
Absolutely.
her
The Mighty
ridiculously goofy
Molly.
superhero gimmick made
And
me
it worked
so happy.
so well. It did. It worked so well.
Um,
They also had a couple new signees. One, Mercedes Martinez.
who is
Uh,
an indie veteran and just signed to NXT, I don't know, a couple weeks ago,
at
and
least.
shows up on the Rumble and came in like fire.
Yeah,
Um,
which I was pretty impressed.
I was
And then
definitely
another
impressed.
one, and then there was another one. I think this someone you may be somewhat familiar with. Someone by the name of Shotzi Blackheart.
Shanzi Blackheart. I love Shanzi Blackheart. Love her gimmick. I love that she's just this zane, crazy, out of this world person. Um, she she definitely surprised me because I've seen her on, I've been following her on the Indies, and then she got signed to NXT. I thought they were gonna like try to tame her. Nope, they're just gonna let her keep being her. She's been having a
Love it.
couple matches on NXT, but I was not expecting her to be in the Rumble. Pleasantly surprised.
See, this is
Um,
it. This is why I love the Rumble. Just a couple, if you don't mind, just a couple of honorable returns. Some legends. Kelly came back this time around. Oh, I was so happy when I saw this one. When I saw her come back, it was awesome. Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, she came
who is
back.
officially the most badass woman in all of WWE? Hands down, no questions asked.
Are you talking about that gash on the back of her
Yes,
head?
she split the back of her
That,
head open. Her
oh,
blonde hair turned red, and
that
this
reminded me
woman
so much of
r-
Ric Flair, like old Ric Flair.
refused to like roll out the ring, get help, and dive back in. She's like, "Nope, I'm gonna keep going. I don't care that
Yep,
like I'm probably bleeding out right now. I'm just gonna keep on being the Glamazon."
yep. Let's
Um,
see. Tegan Knox has came back. I believe she was out with injury. Um, Naomi returned, which I was
Naomi's
so
return. Very happy
her,
to see her.
I love the hair. I gotta say, I love her hair. Oh my
The
god,
fro.
the fro is awesome. Like she looked beautiful. And let can I just talk, may I please talk about just this last one? Like, and then I
Go
will be
for
done.
it.
And then I will let you do what you gotta do. We saw the return of Santina
Oh
Marella.
my gosh.
Santina came back. She still looked good.
I See, I don't know how to feel about this entrant. There's part of me that laughed my ass off, and part of me that was like, "What
Kind
the
of
hell am I watching?"
and that was actually
But
that's where I
they,
think a lot of people are right now.
I think
But
they
go
did
ahead.
it right though. I think
Yes.
it was like, here she is, out the ring. Like it was just done
It,
over, nothing else.
right. And I think
Like
because I think it served a purpose. I think it kind of served to like a callback with Beth Phoenix with the
it did.
program. So,
because she looked pissed.
oh, I'm not surprised.
She's like, oh my goodness. And then Santine looks around. She's like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw myself out. Wham!
Yep. So, I mean, I didn't hate it. I guess that's what
No,
I'm trying to get across.
no.
Like, I did not hate
It
it. I
it
mean,
could have been worse. They could have done something
absolutely.
stupid like she
Make
ran in
her.
and eliminated Beth. That would have made me heated. But since it was just a quick little comedy spot, took up 30 seconds, no harm, no foul.
Exactly. And I know like a lot of people on Twitter were having an issue with it. I didn't personally.
No,
Like I just saw it as like a quick 30-second, like you said, quick 30-second in, out, boom. It
yeah,
really didn't hurt anybody. And I that's my opinion. I'm gonna stick with it.
it's a good
So,
opinion. So,
oh,
um,
thank you. I'll remove that curse.
wait, what?
What?
Oh, Lord. Well, it seems I've been cursed again, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, the rest of the Rumble, um, a lot of making Charlotte look strong. You know, she had some pretty badass moments with going back and forth with Beth. They made
Mm-hmm.
it really look like Beth was going to win this one. Because I think it came down to Beth, Charlotte, Natalia. I
Uh,
think I forget who the third person was, and the fourth
um,
person, the big
Shan-
surprise,
oh,
Shayna
who did you?
Baszler.
Yes.
Did not expect Shayna to be number 30, who came out and just started dumping bodies.
You know what? But you knew that if they were gonna have spot number 30 be something that big, you knew that they were gonna go somewhere tough with it.
Right.
And
So,
then, oh, I think, oh my gosh, I think we're actually missing like a really huge debut
oh,
in this Rumble. Well, not debut, but for the Rumble, I want to say, debut. Like, I'm actually so surprised, like, you did not catch this or you didn't bring it up. Shall I?
go for it. I'm trying to think of who you're speaking of. Oh, yep. I figured out
Ladies and
because
gentlemen, the boy can think for himself.
I freaking called it, and I
Of
yelled
course you
that at the
did.
top of my lungs when she came out and hopped off my couch, again to realize I have a hurt knee. Tony Storm.
Yep, Toni Storm debuted in the Women's Royal Rumble. That was.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for helping me remember.
You're welcome. I was wondering how long it would take, but who ended up winning the Rumble?
Well,
Uh,
in a trick straight out of 2013, it came down to Charlotte versus Shayna. One person the crowd did not want to see, and the other person that the crowd clearly wanted to see. And in the end, they teased the elimination a couple times. Eventually, Charlotte just outmaneuvered Shayna and launched her over the top rope, making Charlotte the winner.
So your winner for the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble match, Charlotte Flair.
Did you hear that sound? That was the sound of the crowd reacting. Because a lot of people weren't exactly happy about this choice. But it is what it is. It doesn't ruin the
Mm-hmm.
Rumble.
Absolutely not, especially like when you had like such like awesome.
Oh, easily some really cool moments. That was a good Rumble. Just The the winner, a couple people would have preferred somebody else. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's always going to be the case with these Rumble matches.
Oh yeah.
So you just kind of gotta run with it and just hope and pray. Well, not pray, but just kind of hope that it kind of works out, like whatever direction they choose to go in the end.
Right.
So because we are actually running on like an hour and 5 minutes right now.
Mm-hmm.
The men's Royal Rumble.
Yep. The men's Royal Rumble. Oh my goodness. I can sum this one up pretty fast. 13.
I'll let you.
13 eliminations by Brock Lesnar. So I did call it. I called that they were going to do the eliminate them one at a time as they came on down. Not many people seemed like they would be the person to do it. They teased it when Kofi, Ray, and Big E were on the ring at the same time, but Brock still eliminated them. Surprise return, MVP.
Yes. How long has it been since he was in a wrestling ring?
In a wrestling ring, not long, because he was over in Japan for a while. As far as in WWE, ring. I don't know, maybe 9 years, something like that. It's been a hot minute.
I was gonna say, wasn't he in last year's Rumble? Or am I crazy? Or am I confused?
He was not in last year's Rumble.
For some strange reason, I thought he may have been.
No. So MVP returned, giving us the Brock Lesnar dancing gif. Shelton.
We also had. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Shelton Benjamin coming out and Brock getting the heat of the night, eliminating his good friend because they're actually really close friends. Were roommates and tag OVW, partners right? In OVW. Aww. And I kind of knew. I was like, they're going to team them up. And then Brock was staying behind him. I was like, nope, no, he ain't.
Not there he goes. I also had, let's see, a couple of NXT guys. Matt Riddle, bro.
Yes, bro, but he showed up late in the Rumble. You got to remember the first NXT call-up, temporary call-up.
I was going to let you do that because I felt like you would give this what it deserves.
You mean I would bask in the glory that is the North American champion Keith Lee?
Whew. Heck yes!
When I saw Keith Lee come out, I was like, here we go. This Rumble's about to start going. And man,
did it go.
Now granted, him and Brock didn't have much. Keith Lee came out, then Braun came out, and then Brock eliminated them. But it proves a point showing how over Keith Lee is. When absolutely. a shoulder tackle, the number 1 or 2 move that you learned in wrestling, caused one of the biggest pops of the night. Boom, knocks down Brock. That is a testament to Keith Lee doing something right. Keep it up, my dude, because you are awesome and you're going to be huge.
You're going places, absolutely. Aleister Black,
Aleister Black shows up. But the big,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries. The big surprise the second big surprise of the night. Ricochet with the low blow and Drew McIntyre with the Claymore kick heard around the world as he eliminated Brock Lesnar. That crowd was hyped because when they saw Brock go get kicked out of the ring, Oh my goodness, they were on fire for that moment. And
I
it
could
made
imagine
Drew look like a badass.
oh, I would imagine because, you think Brock Lesnar in a matchup like this, he would, Brock would have probably took the whole thing.
Oh yeah. If they didn't have
Like,
someone like Drew do that, Brock would have won the whole thing. And it
or
it quickly went from one of the worst rumbles because they were just
it was a slower burn.
they were just draining the life out of it. Like every time you're like,
It
"Oh,
was a
here we
slow
go."
burn.
Oh,
It
they're
was
out.
a very slow. It was a very slow burn.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it felt like.
It was just, "Here we go." Oh, they're eliminated. Yeah, I like this guy. Oh, they're eliminated. It was that 13 times. And
Yes,
then freaking Drew McIntyre with that Claymore kick. Oh my goodness.
and you called it.
Yes, thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
then we had couple more entrants. We had Dolph Ziggler. We had uh, Carl Anderson, AJ Styles.
Kevin Owens,
Mm,
Shinsuke, John Morrison. He
yes,
popped in. Cesaro. Cesaro is still part of the roster, you guys.
yes, yes. But
Randy Orton.
the shock, ladies and gentlemen, of the night was you had the ring filled with AJ, Carl Anderson, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. That gong went off. I'm just still in shock
I know.
that
I'm like
everyone
reveling.
heard.
That.
You think you know me, and that crowd went into a frenzy because I called it here.
You did.
Edge came back, and oh my
My God.
God, that man, because I have met Edge in person, and he said, I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't think it'll ever happen. And then here he is, returns to the Royal Rumble, and that man has not lost a step.
You still got it.
You still got it was an understatement of the night because that man looked better than he has had, better than he
Yes,
looked when he left, and just
absolutely.
went on a spear frenzy. And not only that, because I won't, I don't want to just keep talking about how amazing this was and how like mind blowing it was, but the fact that he went, because he could have easily came in just like Booker T or Kevin Nash a couple years back, hit a couple moves,
And
yeah, I'm
then
back,
be done.
dumped out. This man lasted till the final four. That is a testament to how good he was. And you can tell, and this hits me hard, especially being injured myself. When he
Right.
came out, because, he comes out through the smoke and the fog,
Uh-huh.
you could see the emotion in his face of just how happy he
Overwhelmed.
was and overwhelmed that this moment even happened. And he was literally in tears. And then those tears were gone because it was time to go to work. And
It was go
Edge
time.
went to
Absolutely.
work.
And
Um,
I, I'll be honest. This is gonna sound kind of lame, but when when the Hardy Boys came back for WrestleMania, and just how much, like, I remember like exactly where I was. I was at I was at my ex's house. We were watching it, and my mouth was just down. He was sitting next to me. He was just laughing up a storm, like, he was excited. Like, we were both just so happy and excited. And fast forwarding to now, I had that same reaction. Just my mouth was just down. I was so just, I felt like a part of like my fandom, because when I when I was really big into WWE, like that was when I was watching it with the Hardy Boys, with Edge and Christian, with the Dudleys, when they were doing like the table, ladders, and chairs matches, when they were doing like their 5 second poses. I felt a piece of my childhood, a piece of my nostalgia come back to the screen, and I I felt like, I can honestly say I kind of fell in love again with I, re- I I fell in love with wrestling again, and this is like how I remember it. Like, this is why I felt so much in love with it in the first place. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little long-winded now, Jay, but
I don't know.
um,
This kind of stuff, this is what makes wrestling. This kind of emotional connection. Because I remember I remember the first time I saw Edge. Um, I didn't know who he was. I hadn't watched wrestling in years. Um, I want to say it was 2004, 2004
okay,
when they did the draft. Um, and he was drafted to Raw. And this
okay.
dude with this long blonde mane and his leather jacket came out, and the crowd was all hyped, and they're like, "Yeah!" And I'm like, "Who is this guy?" Because again, I hadn't watched wrestling.
Right.
He slides in the ring, and everyone's like, "Yeah, Edge, woo!" And I was like, "Okay, he's cool looking," and he speared the hell out of Eric Bischoff. I was like, "I love this guy."
Anybody that would spear the hell out of Eric Bischoff was
Oh
okay.
my goodness! And then
Side
like,
note, I love 83 Weeks, by the way.
hashtag not sponsored.
Nope.
Uh, and then a couple years later, when he started being the radar superstar, I was like, I hate this guy. I hope he gets his ass kicked by everyone. And just the fact that he came back after uh, a scary, scary injury.
Oh my God,
Like
yes.
the neck surgery he had was so dangerous. Like he's lucky to be walking, let alone in a ring. And my goodness, the fact that it's even possible for him to be back is a miracle, and I love
Absolutely.
it.
No. Absolutely. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it was fusions, correct?
Yes.
The disc fusions in his neck. So like this, like the C, like the cervical discs.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are pretty hardcore. But again, like you said, like that's a testament. If Edge can come, if someone like that, can come back and do what he loves, and you know, that's possible for anybody.
Right.
And I hope he has a very successful career and a return. So, well, I have a feeling we're getting a little long-winded, so it may not be a bad idea for us to call it here for today.
Yes. We'll wrap up real quick. Finish our train of thought here. So Edge came back. Um, Seth Rollins had a spot with Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Um, the last two in the Rumble came down to Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Speaking of emotional moments, Drew McIntyre hits this huge claymore, throws Roman out of the ring. The crowd went ballistic. They loved it. And for a guy who left WWE as a joke, like he was a ridiculous, like laughing stock of a character,
3-man band.
3MB, to go back home and be like, I'm not happy. I'm going to change this. And just bust his ass for years and become this badass mofo that he is now is just, it shows so much
It's
of, just like
inspiring.
Edge, how much he loves wrestling, how much he wants to give to wrestling. And you could tell when he threw Roman out, just the emotions were going through him, how happy he was. And I
You could
cannot,
see.
because I know he hasn't said it, or he said it on Monday Night Raw. We're going to see Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, and I can't wait.
I cannot wait either.
But Drew,
That's
not a lot of people get to hear this when they win the Royal Rumble. You earned it. It was amazing, and I can't wait. So
I can't either. So, oh wow,
yeah,
definitely a lot of emotions that Sunday night.
most definitely.
Now,
But
yes, unfortunately, my little Cthulhu's, we have to call it here for tonight. If Don't forget tonight, Sunday night, February 2nd. In addition to it being Groundhog's Day, which I still don't know if the little bugger saw its shadow or not.
I think he did. So spring is coming.
Thank God. Yeah, sure. I can't even pretend to be excited. I can't. Um, but no, tonight is the Super Bowl. So if you're going anywhere, eat good food, enjoy good company,
Drive
drink
safe,
responsibly. Absolutely, because you have friends that care about you, you have family that care about you.
and we
We
care
care about
about
you
you.
guys. Absolutely. Don't want anything bad to happen to you guys. And of course, you have pets that care about you.
Yes. So, all right. So we have 30 more seconds. Who you got? Who you got, Britt? Who's winning
Hey, New England ain't in it. I'm happy. I just went to
it?
commercials.
Best damn
You,
answer I can hear all day. I'm rooting for the Chiefs. I hope Mahomes gets his ring.
one way to find out. Tune in tonight and we'll see.
You know, but this will be posted here soon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on the Curbside podcast, and we will see you soon.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye, everyone.